Hello and welcome to Super Over Decoded, powered by IDFC FIRST Bank. Semi-final, the second semi-final, India versus England at Wankhede. Well, it was always going to be a high-scoring affair, and both teams are well suited for Wankhede. Obviously, through the World Cup, we haven't seen Wankhede play as well as it usually does in terms of high scoring. But I mentioned this before as well. I thought during the league phase of the World Cup, I think the pitch were prepared a little on the slower side. But now that it's semi-final, I'm absolutely sure it'll be a high-scoring venue and it's going to be a high-scoring pitch. And that's exactly what it was. A little bit of grass, which is very important on that Wankhede pitch. If you don't leave grass on a red soil pitch, it'll start playing slower and it's going to start gripping. So grass on a red soil pitch is very, very important. And a high-scoring pitch suits both India and England because there are enough 4s and 6 hitting players in both the teams, and it suits their style of cricket as well. On the other side, England made one tactical change in place of Rehan. They got in a leg spinning all-rounder. They got Jamie Overton as a fast bowling all-rounder. That was the only change that England got. And England won the toss and elected to bowl first because they wanted to chase down, and you can understand chasing down was the plan, especially on a pitch, on a high-scoring venue like Wankhede. It's very difficult to set a total. So I can understand that bit, and also due factor and all of that, and it starts to have effect. And we saw that in the New Zealand-South Africa game as well, how easy the pitch had become in the second half. So England won the toss, elected to bowl first. India going into bat, which is not necessarily a bad thing in a high-scoring venue because you can actually bat the opposition out. And yeah, eyes would be on India's batters and how they can play the same way they have in the last years in a World Cup semi-final. So that is going to be the big challenge, always going to be that for India in a big game like a semi-finals. Can India play the same way as they've played in the bilateral in the last couple of years? Sometimes the game is not won by one big over. It's won by building pressure. Dot ball, another dot ball, a tight over, and slowly the required rate goes up. The scoreboard changes even when nothing dramatic happens. Savings work in a similar way. Growth doesn't always come in one big jump. It builds quietly. With IDFC FIRST Bank savings account, you earn monthly interest credits, not quarterly. That means your interest is added every month, allowing compounding to begin sooner. Month after month, the growth builds, and over time, the steady build creates real impact. India started off not as well again. Abhishek Sharma got out to Will Jacks, who's having a great tournament both with bat and ball. But then Sanju Samson again. What an innings. So started off, and what was heartening to see with Sanju is repeating. One of the things that has happened in the past with Sanju is, or the criticism that he's had, is the consistency. And it was extremely good again from Sanju Samson, even though he did give a catch to Harry Brook, who dropped it. But then what a start in the first 6, even though India lost a wicket. But then really good contribution from Ishan Kishan as well, because even though their wicket fell, but then both the guys, they kept scoring runs, and the best part was they never looked like they were trying too hard to do it. It just happened organically the way they batted. And having said that, we must also admit that the England bowlers, especially Jofra Archer, did not bowl well, because generally what happens is, if you see Sanju Samson, he gets really deep inside, both his feet inside the crease. And when a batter does that, you know that the batter is getting ready for the short ball. He wants to pull, he wants to cut. And that's where I think Jofra Archer, even though he's had success in the past against Sanju Samson bowling the short ball, but Sanju was ready for it. Back in the crease, every time he bowled short, he pulled it. The only ball actually which Jofra bowled, Fuller, right, was the one which induced that opportunity for Harry Brook, which he dropped. We'll talk about it later, but leave that aside. A lot of credit to the Indian batters, especially Sanju Samson, how he was so calm. It never seemed like he was rushing or trying to hit the ball too hard. And the other important thing which I found really impressive is how these guys effortlessly, and surely they're looking to maximize every ball, hit a 4 or a 6, but how effortlessly, if they don't get a ball to hit a 4 and 6, they convert it into a single or 2. I mean, that is fascinating, because it's not about just trying to hit every ball out of the park. It's a good enough ball, you got to show respect, and that's what they did. Unfortunately, didn't bowl as well in the end. If you look at all the bowlers, I mean, The most economical was Will Jacks, who went at 10 runs and over. So everyone went for plenty because India got 253. But this was a perfect batting innings. One guy in the top three, again, Sanju Samson, played deep, got a big innings, and everyone else contributed. Smaller contributions, but everyone else contributed, whether it was Tilak Verma, whether it was Hardik, even Shivam Dube run out was an unfortunate one. I thought Hardik was should I not? By the time he said yes and then no, it was too late. But then contributions from top to bottom from everyone. Abhishek, yes, a little bit of a concern, but then that's alright because you want them to bat like that, bat fearlessly. Talking about batting fearlessly, it is one thing to bat fearlessly in a bilateral series, but when it's a semi-final of the World Cup, you would be nervous. And I'm sure the Indian batters or Indian team was nervous, but then they still had that mindset to go out there and bat like any other game. Was fascinating. I thought that was the key for me. We saw that against South Africa, how a couple of wickets when they fell, they just got into a shell and gone into consolidation mode. But this Indian team, even though wickets fell, they never got into that consolidation mode. They just kept playing their shots, they just kept scoring runs. Ishan, 39 of 18 was superb, and that partnership kind of set the tone. Him and Sanju, that was very, very good. Shivam Dube, 43 was exceptional. So everyone contributed, and that was the beauty, and that's the reason India got 253 batting first. Well, it was never going to be easy chasing down 253. I mean, the highest I believe England's chase down is 229, if I'm not wrong. But then, yeah, it was never going to be easy. And then England lost 3 early wickets. It was 60 odd for 3, and that does not help. And Joss Buttler, I just need to mention him because it is a little painful to see Joss Buttler in that kind of form, because he's one of the greatest white ball cricketers we've seen, especially in this format, and he struggled right through this whole World Cup. And it is painful. Phil Salt, brilliant delivery from Hardik Pandya, just a little shape away. That was enough. And then perfect ball to bowl to Phil Salt. Then obviously Bumrah, Harry Brook, because he's in good nick. He's starting to bat at number 3, where I think he should for England. First ball of the spell, Bumrah comes in, holds a slower delivery, and then rest is history. Akshar Patel, superb catch. I think the fielding was top notch. I think one thing that India weren't doing well was the fielding and the catching. And I thought in this game, Indian catching and fielding were at its best. Akshar Patel, couple of those catches. One was the relay with Shivam Dube, was superb. This first catch, Harry Brook was even better, running backwards and then diving. Absolutely brilliant. But then England, what they did really well was they also made sure they kept scoring runs, they kept playing their shots even though wickets fell. And that partnership between Will Jacks and Jacob Bethel, that was kind of kept them in that run chase for a very, very long time. Harry Brook goes out, then comes Sam Curran, but Jacob Bethel, got to mention him. I mean, he is an absolute superstar in the making. Again, very much like Sanju Samson or Finn Allen in the previous semi-final, where they just hit those boundaries effortlessly. It doesn't seem like they're trying too hard, or they're rushed, or they're hurried, they're overthinking, they're trying to put in a lot of power or muscle into their shots. So yeah, Jacob Bethel, superstar in the making for sure. And Sam Curran also kind of kept them going for a very, very long time. And after 15 overs, in fact, if you look at the scoring comparisons, till the 15th over, England were actually ahead of India in terms of comparisons after 15 overs. I think India had 4 wickets down, England 5, but then they were very much in that run chase in the last 5. But remember one guy, Jasprit Bumrah, he had 2 overs left out of those 5, and how good he was. In a game where 499 runs scored, 34 sixes hit, he goes for 8 runs and over. How good is he? And obviously that wicket of Harry Brook as well. And him bowling that 16th over and then the 18th over, that was the key. But a lot of credit to Hardik as well, who came in and bowled the 19th over. Then even Arshdeep, his over went for 9, which was very, very good, because at that point in time they needed around, I think, 18 balls 45 that they needed. And top over, tactically, I thought one thing they got wrong, or maybe could have looked at it differently, is try to play out Jasprit Bumrah, and which they did. because obviously they knew it would be someone else, maybe Akshar bowling one of the other 2 overs and Hardik. Maybe they had that confidence that they'll take those 2 bowlers for 36 or 37. But then I thought, they kind of shut shop completely in that over, just trying to protect their wickets, it seems. But then again, Bumrah was superb. In fact, like I said, those last 3-4 overs, India were really good. There was Arshdeep, Bumrah, Hardik. They were very, very good in those last 5 overs, and that's where the difference was. In the end, India won by 7. That might look very close, which it came close. You weren't expecting, to be fair, 253. You're like, it's going to be one-sided, but it wasn't. Was quite an interesting one, quite an entertaining one. But yeah, England were always behind, even though 7-run victory might suggest a lot closer, but it wasn't as close as the scorecard suggests. Turning point for me was obviously a couple of things, or rather one thing, which affected both the teams. That was fielding. On one side, that Harry Brook drop catch, Sanju Samson went on to get a huge score. Could have been very, very different. It could have been very different. And had India lost 2 wickets in the power play itself, you never know. Maybe India would have been 200, 220, which obviously we saw could have been chased down. But in the end, I thought fielding or catching, while for England, it was very average, and the drop catch costed them a lot. That is one. But on the other hand, catching for India, Akshar Patel, the Harry Brook catch was superb. The relay catch was again brilliant. So I think, that was the main turning point as far as I'm concerned. The drop catch of Sanju by Harry Brook, and then Akshar, and in general, Indian team fielding and catching was absolutely spot on. That was one thing that India kind of would be very, very happy about. Apart from the batting effort, the fielding and the catching effort made a huge difference in this game, more than, again, the scorecard would suggest. Well, this was the best game that India has played in this World Cup. And if there is any time to play your best cricket, it would be the knockouts, right? It would be the semi-final and the final. And as I mentioned before, it is fascinating to see how the batters, especially in a semi-final of a World Cup, play as fearlessly as they did. Because if you look at any sport, if it's a knockout game like a semi-final or final, both teams are a little cagey. You don't want to make mistakes. You want to do the right things. But just to go out there and bat fearlessly, I think Indian batters were absolutely superb. And I did tweet saying this was a perfect batting innings. Now, bowling-wise as well, I thought, this wasn't a pitch for the bowlers. So Bumrah was brilliant. Concern remains with Varun. Now, what is happening with Varun is a lot of batters are now playing him off the back foot. Because I mentioned what Varun does really well is to find that length. He's gone a little shorter. In fact, he is on the shorter side. He always bowls so that batters can't slog sweep him. So he bowls a little bit on the shorter side. But then now batters have started hitting him off the back foot and straight down, not across the line, because he's quick. So they don't want to go across the line and get beaten. So they're going on the back foot and hitting him straight down the ground. And that is something that Varun has to find an answer to, because the last 4 games he's gone on an average more than 10 runs an over, and in this game he went for 60 plus in his 4, because he is such an important part of this team. The reason behind India's success or domination in last 2 years has been how good Varun has been in those middle overs, in picking up wickets and being economical. And this last 4 games has been a very unlike Varun performances, but you expect Varun to find a way out and hopefully find a way out. As far as the others are concerned, I think Arshdeep, and I mentioned before, bowled really well in the death. Bumrah, great as always. Hardik under pressure, he's cool as a cucumber. So it's just coming together. And I mentioned in the videos before that India still hasn't played a good game or their best. There's always been one individual who was bailing India out, but I think, and the other important thing was the fielding, catching and fielding. I think this was, from at least batting and fielding perspective, the best game India's had, and you really couldn't ask for more, to be fair. As far as bowling is concerned, that's one thing, the Varun Chakravarti issue. And maybe the other thing that might try to do is get Shivam bowl an over, because I can understand why Surya didn't go with Shivam, because they were scoring at 10, 11 any which way, and one big over of 20 odd runs could have costed India the game. I can understand that. Maybe just find a way to get in an over or two of Shivam, as in the sixth bowler. So that has been a concern. That has been a concern for India. But going forward against New Zealand as well, at Ahmedabad, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a replay of the Champions Trophy, which India won, but obviously different format as well. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. The finals in Ahmedabad, India versus New Zealand. Thank you for watching Super Over Decoded, an initiative by Elite Sports.